비주얼주의자라서 원하는 거 하고 좋아하는 거 하고 살 거예요.
It's official, America has become the laughing stock of Korea over the Stellar Blade model's body proportions. Of course, this is a debate that happened over time where people were discussing the overall body proportions of the Stellar Blade model, at least the video game character Eve, and everyone was saying, at least in American journalism, that her body proportions were unrealistic. This is a terrible standard to set for women, at least in America, and setting up for a fantasy of having body proportions similar to a video game character. Of course, when you go over to Korea side, you have Maxim magazine finally discovering some of these discussions happening in social media and online, and they're chiming in saying, what is the absurdity of Americans thinking that having this body type is unrealistic? Everyone in Korea has this body type, and they go over the examples of how that's the case with the current model that is playing Eve, or at least the body figure of Eve, and showing scans and overall production where her body is actually like the video game character. And I think that is a discussion that we're seeing on Maxim Korea, where they're having a news anchor going over the body proportions saying, how is this unrealistic when this is the typical body type for at least Asian women in Korea, or at least around the Asian community? And I think this is the thing that we're seeing nowadays when it's coming up with this discussion about Stellar Blade and the body proportions, where other people outside of America are saying this is the average body standard, and what type of body do you have in America where it has to be bigger than this? And I think this goes down to the overall obesity epidemic in America, where we have these weird warped standards of what's healthy now. Overweight is now healthy and obesity is the norm. And I think that concept is driving itself into the video games, where people are saying average body types around the world are unrealistic now when it's the average body type around the world. And I think that is the case with Eve from Stellar Blade, where there's a lot of women that have this body type. And I think this is the thing that we're seeing, at least that is being picked up by Korea now, and they're kind of laughing at Americans saying, what are you talking about? This is an average typical model in Korea, and not even that, the typical average woman in Korea. And I think that's the thing that we're seeing, where they're discussing this in an abstract way, where they're confused by America's overall perception of what is the standard of beauty for these video games. And you can see this reporter going down the line and seeing all the tweets, at least from Mark Kern, when it concerns just the overall development of Stellar Blade and how the woman was captured, and some of the meltdowns that you see from IGN France saying this is an unrealistic standard, when in actuality across the world it's a very basic standard. And I think that is the thing that we're seeing in the Western development sphere, where any of these average body types are unrealistic now because the majority of the population is overweight and eating unhealthily. And I think that is the thing that we're seeing now, especially if you're just talking about model standards. This is just the average model standard. I think that is the thing that is being perceived in Korea, where they're saying, what is this issue in America where they can't perceive reality as something that's realistic? And how do we educate them that this is an average body type in across the world? And I think that is the thing that they're concerned with and trying to understand, at least when it comes to the political correctness issue in America. And it kind of is them just laughing at America too, and just showcasing a lot of these different models in different forms, saying, why is this such a confusion of the American concept of beauty? Where is it coming from? How is it developing? And why is it so different from our standard? And I think that is the thing that you're getting from this news report, that is just going over just the basic figures and proportions of different women in Korea and different professions, and how that is translatable to the video game sphere, and how that is breaking away from their concept. And I think that's the thing that we're seeing nowadays when it comes to what is a realistic body shape. And in their mind, they're saying, what is wrong with America? They have misconstrued what is the concept of a realistic body type. And it is fascinating to see them see this and laughing at Americans. And I think we all expected this to happen, because we all knew the absurdity of just saying this is unrealistic body design, we can't have this is leading to harm to women and stuff like that. No, it's just, maybe it's just more healthy to be in this type of body form, and maybe being afraid of these skinnier body forms is what's leading to a lot of unhealthy habits and lifestyles, and of course diseases and early death. And And I think that is the thing that we should take away from this, is that we have a warped mindset, at least the American standard, at least the political activists that are pushing for this standard to be removed, at least the Korean standard of just having these thin body types, because when in actuality having these thinner body types leads to a healthier life. And I think that is the case when you see some of these pictures of what we're getting from these other Western development companies, where it's more overly focused on the unhealthy figure, the unhealthy body type, and more so this androgyny type that maybe have to be induced by chemicals in reality. And I think that is the unhealthy part of the situation. And I think seeing this, Korea recognizing that is the case with some of their news reports, it is concerning that Americans are going to have another bad reaction to the game, because this seems like a worldwide problem that is growing, where a lot of people are recognizing America has a problem with its beauty standards, with its health standards, with its overall perception of reality. And I think that is the most scary thing we're getting out of this, where we have people in America that just don't believe in reality anymore, and they need to have their perception of current reality be perceived everywhere, even though it goes against the grain across the globe. And I think that is the thing that people are seeing as a scary thought, because America has so much power and is trying to influence the world in a direction that is completely unhealthy, at least when it comes to the body type, health, size, how people are supposed to look. It is pushing the direction of the world into an unhealthy pathway. And I think that's where things stop getting funny when you look at this. Okay, yeah, this is funny. The Stellar Blade character is a normal body type across the world, but pushing this unhealthy body type that we see currently within the market is the thing that is scaring people, at least across the globe, because once that unhealthy body type becomes the standard, it's going to lead to disease, death, and harm. And because that is the unhealthy body type, the overweight body type, the obese body type that is widely accepted in America today, that is always trying to be promoted by the social progressive activists in society today. And I think that is the thing that we need to avoid if we want a healthier society. But I like that Korea is finally calling out America for their just unhealthy body standards and trying to educate them on what is a realistic body standard. And I think this is the one of the few times where I'm rooting for another country to actually express its true values in a way where it's healthy for Americans to actually learn from. But of course, this is not going to happen. The social activists are going to come back, fight back, and accuse them of being some sort of a misogynist factory or something like that. That is usually the standard mode of attack. But I think this is just another funny case of a country realizing there's something wrong with American values when it comes to the overall body shape and health organization of the country. And I think this is just being manifested with the accusations against this game, Stellar Blade and Eve, of being unrealistic, when in actuality it's a pretty standard and average body type that can be found around the world. Just not in America, because America has unhealthy standards. But it is funny that they're laughing at us. It's sad that they are laughing at us too, but it's a laugh that needs to be had, because it's well deserved for this kind of overall nightmarish misconception of what is realistic and what is unrealistic that needs to be kicked out of the American video game development sphere, with its unhealthy obsession with being unhealthy and unattractive. But that's just my thoughts on the situation. You tell me what you think about the situation. Korea is laughing at America, and rightly so. I think it's well deserved, and they're just shocked that Americans actually truly believe this, and I'm shocked as well. But this is, of course, this is a small minority of activists, but it's a growing majority now, because a lot of people are believing the same thing, and I think that is the scary thing about it. But you leave your comments, tell me what you think about Korea laughing at America. Do you think it's well deserved? Leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe. This is Wagner Knows Why. Catch you next time.